This is big breaking emergency news. We are getting reports from health authorities in Wyoming that there has been a anthrax outbreak. That is what is being reported. This is actually happening right on the border of Colorado and Wyoming. This is just a few hours north of Denver where this is happening, and it's being reported that a anthrax outbreak. We've already seen dozens of animals being sick and killed from this outbreak as well, and health authorities are warning that this is spreading. So let's get into the details here really quick, guys. Please just hit it up for me down there, hit that like and hit that subscribe. I'm posting multiple videos a day, keeping you guys updated on all this big urgent news, and it just helps to get these warnings out. I appreciate that. All right, so this is what's happening in Wyoming right now. Health authorities just issued this warning, and they're saying that anthrax, you heard that right, anthrax, this is a potential bioweapon. Okay, this is something that we heard a lot about in the early 2000s, that this was a bioweapon that was being sent around, and there was a lot of heightened security around this virus, around this bacteria. Okay, this is a deadly bacterial disease, and there was a lot of hype around it, and now we are seeing it come back again and spreading in Wyoming. They're saying that it's affected multiple different ranches right now. It's affecting wildlife, and we've already seen over 50 different cattle that have died from it as well too. So what's going on here? And even in this article from Forbes, they're reporting that anthrax is a potential bioweapon. All right, here's what it says coming out of Forbes. It says an outbreak of anthrax, a quote deadly bacterial disease feared as a potential bioweapon among cattle and wildlife in Wyoming, has dozens of animals and health officials urging people to take care as experts investigate what marks the first outbreak of its kind in the state in decades. All right. The health authorities are saying that this is a natural outbreak, but that's what this article is starting with. It says the Wyoming State Veterinary Laboratory has confirmed a case of anthrax in a dead moose in Carbon County. The Wyoming Game and Fish Department said in a statement. This is right near Elk Mountain, right outside of Laramie. Okay, this is just 30 minutes outside of Laramie, and this is only a couple hours away from Denver, Colorado. It says the discovery marks the first time the deadly bacterial disease has been confirmed in wildlife in Wyoming in decades. The last case was reported in 1956, and the state agency said the moose is, quote, the only documented case reported in wildlife at this time. It says anthrax has also been found in nearby cattle in Carbon County, which is where Elk Mountain is, right near Laramie. And it says officials said the first confirmed infections in Wyoming cattle since the 1970s. The Wyoming State Veterinary Laboratory confirmed the diagnosis in late August and said anthrax had been found in cattle from multiple herds around the Elk Mountain region. The Wyoming State Veterinary Haley Hassel told Cowboy State Daily that at least 50 cattle have died due to anthrax, warning that losses may climb as officials determine the full extent of the outbreak. Hazel said the outbreak appears to be limited to a localized region at this time, and the Wyoming Game and Fish and Wildlife Department said it would, quote, continue to monitor the situation and assess impacts to wildlife. All right, so that's what they're reporting on right now. Over 50 cattle have died, a moose has died, and they're warning too that this could potentially spread to humans. And they're saying specifically hunters, they're warning right now that hunters need to take advanced precaution if you're interacting with any type of wildlife. But also ranchers right now too, they are warning that they could get this disease, this infection, from their own cattle, right? So where's this stuff coming from? Where's this anthrax coming from? Here's what the official narrative is saying. This is what the Wyoming Wildlife is saying, they're saying anthrax is a naturally occurring bacterial disease that can be transmitted between livestock, wildlife, and humans. It's most commonly seen in herbivores, including cattle, deer, bison, elk, moose, and pronghorn. It says carnivores tend to be less at risk and may display higher resilience to the disease. The spores can persist in the ground for decades and emerge when the ground is disturbed or flooded. Disturbances are common in summer months when conditions may alternate between rain and hot, dry weather, allowing spores to be released from contaminated soil and ingested by livestock or wildlife. Right? That's what the Wyoming Wildlife Commission is saying right now. They're saying that this is a natural outbreak, but it's a pretty big outbreak to be killing this many cattle, and now it's affecting wild moose. So what's going on here? Maybe there's a spore outbreak here. And it says here it almost always arises following environmental exposure, and the durable nature of the spores mean it is practically impossible to eliminate or control the threat of anthrax in a given area once it's established. Right? So that's what they're saying, is once this stuff's dug in, it's hard to get out, and digging it out, removing it, just spreads it even more. It says these features, along with the ability to disperse it as an aerosol, also make anthrax an ideal candidate for biological warfare. It is well documented that many countries have explored the possibility of weaponizing anthrax, and while some have admitted to developing weaponized strains, no country is known to deploy any. Officials worry anthrax could be deployed by non-state actors like terror groups, such as through letter attacks. And the CDC says anthrax is, quote, one of the biological agents most likely to be used in a bioterror attack. All right, so that is according to the CDC and Forbes, this article. That's what they're reporting, right? So not saying that's what this is, but this is serious. When we're dealing with anthrax, it's very deadly. If you inhale this, or if you are exposed to this at high volumes, it can be extremely deadly, and you need to go to the hospital, right? And it's deadly for your animals as well too, and potentially you can pick it up from animals as well too, especially dead animals. All right, they are now issuing warnings as well for hunters. All right, it says here that Game and Fish is advising hunters and the public to take the following precautions in Wyoming. This is what they're warning, and this county is right here. It's touching Colorado, right? It's right there. So there could be overlapping into Colorado as well too. It says here, this is the recommendations they are giving. It says, if you encounter dead cattle or wildlife, do not approach, handle, or move the carcass. Do not harvest an animal that looks sick. Early signs of anthrax can include respiratory difficulty and disorientation. After death, infected animals tend to bloat very quickly, and you may see black, tarry blood coming out of natural body openings, the nose, mouth, and others. It says it is also recommended to wear gloves while field dressing or handling harvested animals. Do not pick up roadkill or fresh deadheads in the Elk Mountain area. Keep dogs, horses, and other pets away from animal carcasses you come across in the field. That's another thing, is your dogs, your animals. If you are going to the park, or if you are on your ranch, they could get into one of these dead animals and eat it. My dog's sick right now. She got into something, and I've been rubbing her belly. Right, I had to rub her belly. Her stomach was extremely hard because she got into something, ate some trash or something out there. I don't know what she ate. Some like rotten eggs or something. Found a stash of eggs in the yard from the chickens, something like that. She's gonna be fine, but she's been like in pain for a couple of days now. I've been having to rub her belly. because she ate something, right? So your dogs could eat one of these infected animals, or just get into it, just sniff it, just be into it. Even if they don't eat it, just be all up in it. Dogs love to, at least my dog does, loves to smell everything. So that could be a way that it could potentially even cross over to you, right? You can, and you might not even know. You might have your dog off the leash at the park, on your property, in the woods, wherever you are on a hike, and your dog could be getting into this mess. So make sure you're keeping a close eye on them as well. And it says here, if hunters encounter deceased wildlife, note the location and take a GPS pin and report findings to Game and Fish. All right, that's what they're warning in Wyoming. And says here, human cases are rare, but precautions are warranted. If you have concerns that you may have come in contact with an anthrax infected animal, please contact Wyoming Department of Health and seek medical attention, right? So that's what they're warning of right now in Wyoming. Please just hit it up for me down there, guys, to help get these warnings out. I appreciate that. It just helps because this stuff is not being reported, right? There's all these things going on, and our country is also wide open. Okay, we don't know exactly who is in our country right now and where these things could be coming from, right? This could be naturally occurring. It's most likely naturally occurring. It's occurring in rural areas and affecting cattle and wildlife. But just like the CDC said, they didn't just warn that, but they've warned in memos previously that anthrax is the substance of choice that could be used for a bioterror attack inside the US. And when you have these gangs and these organizations getting their tentacles and having bases taking over buildings and apartment complexes deep inside the US, it becomes a potential concern, right? And this is also affecting the cattle industry. This could be a major thing that spreads and wipes out a lot of cattle, right? It kills them quickly, humans and animals quickly, all right? So we could see this spread across the ranches out west, right? They could see there's a major anthrax outbreak and it's been dormant in the soil, and this crazy weather, this crazy wind, this crazy storm, right? There has been a lot of wild weather going on, right? And potentially it could spread, it could affect cattle, all right? We've already seen all this pressure on our cattle industry, on our ranchers, on our food supply. This has already been happening. We just had a major listeria outbreak from boar's head meat, right? And there were, it's like almost all their meat has been contaminated, right? Dozens of different products are not safe to eat, right? So thank you guys. Make sure you're getting prepared and getting ready, all right? We have our chickens working on our gardens, and it might be more important in the future to be growing your own food and working on your own preps, all right? And if you don't have land to do that, get a few extra cans, right? Get a bag of rice. Get some extra packs of water, right? Just have some extra food, have some extra prep stored, just in case anything happens, you're ready and you're prepared. So thank you guys. I hope you have big blessings for your life, your family, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.